Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dheeraj, Prajwal, Nilotpal, and Sahai. I can see messages from you guys. The focus, let me just adjust the focus once. Okay, yeah, now the focus is better. So thank you, Dheeraj, for your kind words. Yeah, thank you so much. We are not very fond of titles as such. Yeah, but good. Thank you, Nilotpal. Good. Yes, Varun. I would primarily be answering questions on quantitative aptitude section. So if you have questions on QA section, you're most welcome to ask it, Varun. Yeah, that's Varun Singh. There are two Varuns, Varun Praharaju and Varun Singh. Sahaya has asked a question. I'll just wait for just a minute before I start answering. Okay, so that everyone is settled in. If there are some difficulties, if the audio is not clear, the video is lagging or something, maybe I'll get a feedback by then before I start jumping into it. And hello, Harsh. Okay, so I'll take each question. Most probably, we are not going to have too much today. So you could just type in your questions and be rest assured that I'll answer them in details, in a lot of details. And I think so. Let's get started. The earlier we start, the better it is. Yeah. So. So good evening, everyone. Again, all the new those who have joined in. So let me start with Sahai. He's the first question came in: how to revise the quant portion. Now, Sahai, there are I'll try to answer based upon two kind of students. Yeah, one, those who struggle with QA. And one, those are very good with QA. Yeah, they consider QA as a strength, so they're capitalizing on scoring a 99.9 percentile in the QA section, and hence pushing up their overall scores. And then there are ones who struggle to clear the cutoff in QA section, so their story is very different. And I think so. And it's very logical that the approach for the two kind of students have to be very different. So, Sai, if you can probably just let me know, where do you stand? Are you struggling in quant, or are you, very good in it, or are you somewhere midway? If you can do that, it would be great. I'll take up then your question in more better thing. Nilotpalas, kindly tell when we should complete and start mocks. You should start mocks, Nilotpal. Nilotpal, I guess you are there in the group, and I've been telling August is a right time to start your mocks. There are students who start their mocks even in July. July may be a little early if you haven't, let's say, unless you are thoroughly prepared well enough. But August, you should start your mocks. August mid is high time. So if you have not taken any mocks till now, you should immediately take a mock, student. So plan one immediately, right? So if tomorrow is a nice holiday or so on, you don't have much work, plan a mock tomorrow. Trust me, the first 2, 3, 4 mocks are only going to get used to those scary results that you have. It will almost feel like, have I really been preparing? Even if you have been preparing for 2, 3 months, your first 2, 3 mock scores are going to be such a disaster. Yeah. So for most of them, the ones who do very well are only the exceptions. So the message over there, Nilotpal, is immediately take mocks and at least finish 2, 3 mocks in the month of August itself. In the remaining 2 weeks, finish those 2, 3 mocks so that you can start experimenting and start making a realistic, you might reach a more realistic kind of score from September onwards. Okay, so you have a lot of, you have an experience of 2, 3 mocks behind you. Okay, you can relate very well to test taking strategies that we will do. If you are blank, if you have not taken any mocks, and now just understand, when I say the results are going to be disastrous for the first few mocks, if you can't relate to it, you will not appreciate at all what I'm saying. So hence it is very important that you take mocks right away, start right away. Even if I would say your syllabus is not done very well, I usually recommend arithmetic, algebra, geometry to be completed. But let's say they are not, I would still say take 2-3 mocks for sure. Okay, so there's a lot of questions now, so I'll try to keep it short hereafter. Okay. Ayush also asks how to revise Quant. Let me see, Ayush, I have just said, I was answering Sahai, and I said that revision of Quant will depend upon what kind of student you are. So Sahai says somewhere you are in the middle. Okay, if you are in the middle somewhere, Sahai, then my message to you would be, one thing in revision is, if you have notes, then you should go through notes, and that is very important. Having your notes and so yeah. So, but let's say you don't have notes, then what I would suggest is go through every topic, saying the types of questions. I'll give you an example, like profit loss discount. If we say your first thing will basically be profit percentage, percentage of cost price, margin percentage, percentage of selling price. Quickly reorient your thoughts to in profit percentage. You will a cost price, you would assume margin, you'll assume the selling price, and the visual should come in picture: cost price, profit, selling price. With margin percentage, selling price, profit, then cost price. You would go the reverse way. Now the type of questions. The first type of questions are where the cost price and selling price will be given in a very, in a little roundabout way. So these many items, these many rupees, and so on. So either I can make it per unit, or I can make the total number of units as the LCM. Then there are going to be questions which have cost price, selling price in terms of number of articles. I buy 15 articles in a rupees. I sell 18 articles in a rupees. So this revision, what I'm saying is, these standard questions you should immediately know. Okay, you should immediately know, and you should just quickly revise. Oh, he's purchasing 15 articles in a rupees, he's selling 18 articles in a rupees. Oh, he has a loss of 3 articles, he's giving away more articles in a rupees. But is it 3 by 15 or 3 by 18? You should know that. You should not sit and do that, students. Yeah. Then going a little forward, then we would come to, there are 2 articles. One at profit, one at loss. Quickly revise your thing. Okay. So if profit percentages are given, then assume the cost price. Depending upon the situation, if the cost price is same, if the selling price is same, assume the selling price, then go to the cost price. So those things should run in your mind. Okay. Then with 2 articles, you metamorph into 2 lots. Now it should come to your mind that when we are talking of lots of apples or lots of mangoes, then there are number of mangoes, number of fruits, as well as the rate. And the cost, the profit percentage is not of the number of mangoes, is not of the rate per mango. It is of the cost, the rate into number. So you should be able to, in 5 minutes, 10 minutes flat, you should be able to run down through all the standard type of questions. Now it's very easy for us because we keep doing this over day in day. And I've just done half of profit loss discount till now. Okay. And in fact, there are some standard questions that I missed out in between. Okay. Then comes questions where there is some discount. So the moment discount comes in, you should have train your mind to think of, and when you train your mind to think of, that much more your speed will increase, because these are things that you look out in the question. So the moment discount comes, my mind is searching for, hey, listen, there's a markup. So what data is given about the markup? There's a discount, and then the third is the profit. And these 3 are linked together. 2 will be given, third will be asked. It has to be as fundamental as this. So, this overview point that I'm saying, this overview that you have, this is what you do when you revise. So you have to go through. Okay, so that is point number 1. Then there are certain things where, revision is more needed because there are some formulaic kind of things or so on that, and anything that that it should be memorized, you would need to revise, right? So let's take in number systems, there are this. In how many ways can n be written as a product of 2 natural numbers? So what was it? Number of factors by 2, or was it 2i's into number of factors? You should not be sitting thinking over that. Okay, in how many ways can this be written as a difference of squares? You should immediately know difference of squares. Should I look odd for odd numbers? N being odd, there is one way, number of factors for divide by 2. Okay, what if it is integers? What if it is even? So you should know these things, right? So I would say that roughly, pay attention. I'm coming to a close. Okay, and this is also going to be answering other questions like who just now asked Akshay or someone asked same thing, how to revise. Okay, so coming back to my thoughts, one day or half a day, not even one, half a day should be what I just mentioned, going through the whole flow of the whole topic, knowing all the standard questions, the concise picture of all data given and all things you should know. Then the second part to revision is you should take up about 30 to 60 questions, depending upon how fast or how slow you are. 30 to 60 questions you should take up, and the next day you should probably try to solve those 30 to 50 questions. Okay, so that is also part of revision. So these 30 to 50 questions, ideally, I would say should be a little fresh set of questions, not the same as you would have done earlier. From your earlier question bank, you would already have marked the important questions. So you should go back and, it's the same thing that when we were without internet, without bookmarks, when we used to read from a physical copy or so on, in the margin, we would mark 2 stars, 3 stars. So you should look for those stars and those questions should be done. Let's say you have not done that. Then what do? Take a old exercise, but don't sit down with a pencil and a pen. Take the exercise, probably just stand up. Okay, if you can. And if you find standing up too, let's say, dramatic or so on, then sit, but don't sit with a pen and a pencil. Just sit, read it, and try to run the solution in your mind. Okay, in this question, as I was, earlier saying, okay, time, speed, distance, let's say. I just saw a CAT question. A man goes from here to this place at 60 speed. While coming back, he takes a bypass, which increases his distance by 5 kilometers per hour. And but he can ride at a faster pace now. Okay, and he takes 10 minutes less. So now look here, you're not solving it, but you're saying, okay, I have two scenarios. One, while going, speed is 50. While coming, speed is 60. Okay, distance is different by 5. Different means x and x plus 5. Okay, I've got a variable in, I've got the speed. Variable is distance, I've got the speed. Now I'll have to write a relation in time. Oh, so that's it. Distance x by 50, x plus 5 by 60. And the difference on this is the time given. I can find the distance. And once I find the distance, look at what is asked. The question was asking, what is the average speed? So the average speed is total distance by total time. Done. Spend that 40 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute to run this process in your mind. I did not touch pencil. I did not solve the equation, but I did try and find out how the solution is going to arrive. This is step 2 of a problem solving. Any problem solving, step 1 is understanding the question. Step 2 is this framework, this approach. How am I going to reach the answer? Run this approach. How are you going to reach the answer in your mind? Another example from, let's say, mods. Okay, so this is a mod. How many integer points are within a expression? Let's say mod of x plus mod of y is less than equal to 10. Now the first thing that should come is, in day 1 of revision, this should be a standard question. So you should know mod of x plus mod of y is equal to k. The answer now, this is formulaic, so I have to think, oh, it is 4k. Oh, was it 4k plus 1? Was it 4k? Right now, if you don't know it was 4k, that means something is miss in my preparation. So in your day 1 of revision, you have done all these things. In day 2, you look at 30, 40 questions and you just try to, solve, not completely solve it, but at least run down all the solution in your mind. So this is what I mean by revision. Hope you have got it. I've tried to explain it. If you're still not satisfied, do let me know. Okay. Uh, Kindly let me know, Nilotpal done. How Ayush, I just answered. Kashish, I have completed entire syllabus. How should I proceed with revision? Okay, I told you, revision is this. So Kashish, if I just want to add on to it, probably say there are 90, 100 days left. Let's say half of these days are going to be mocks and mock analysis. So roughly you have 50 days for your revision. In these 50 days, I would say divide it. Now, very simple, divide it as 10, 12 days for arithmetic, 10, 12 days for algebra, about a week for geometry. So that's 12, 12, 24 and a week, 31 days geometry, another week for all the other topics, 38 days. So these 38 days, you are going to revise these things, what I just said, right? So do those things, yeah, and then keep those 10 days spare for anything that you need to do it, redo it, or some topics that you might not have done, or a mock goes, whatever, right? So practice that way, right? You don't have, okay. Singara Ganesh, can I complete the QA section with 100? I can complete the QA section with 100% accuracy. That's super when I have ample amount of time. But under time pressure, I barely cross 7 questions. Okay. Singara, a very pertinent question. And others pay attention to this now, because a lot of answers now, the question form may change, but a lot of answers are going to be here itself. So now people who are going to ask me in mocks, I can only manage 4 questions, 5 questions, or whatever. The answer isn't what I'm going to tell Ganesh now. Okay, so Ganesh, here, pay attention. One, excellent that you can do 100% accuracy when you have ample of time. Now, please try to understand, put a pressure, put a time pressure, put an exam expectation pressure, and suddenly the performance is not as great. One simple thing is, and then it works is to start enjoying the test. You know, the moment you take the test under a lot of pressure, you know, you're not going to perform well. And this goes for any sports. Now, look at the sportsmen, look at anyone who, you know, who enjoys a sport. Isn't that far more fun than anything? So one thing is, and I think it makes a difference, is how are you viewing the test? You know, where I look at the test as, hey, great, good. So, you know, there's something challenging. There's something challenging. And I will tell me, I'll just remind myself, hey, listen, I can do 7 questions. I can do 7 questions when time is. So my target here is 7 questions. The first thing, important point, you might not appreciate the point where I said start enjoying the test. I know you're a student, yeah, you're a guy. You're going to say it's very easy to sit and say enjoy the test. But what do I do? So my first point that you will appreciate also on is your goal should be just 7 questions. Your goal should not be maximize my score. 7 questions, and you know what? To the extent that you tell you that if I finish 7 questions, I am going to submit the test and I will not do the 8th question. Why I'm saying this is, when you go out searching for 7 questions and so on, yeah, just tell it's not an actual CAT, na? Right? It's not actual CAT. Just tell yourself, yeah, this one test, I'm going to let go of it after 7 questions. But let me just do 7 questions. You will be shocked and surprised. Can I finish off the 7 questions in 30 minutes? And please click the submit button after 30 minutes if it is allowed. Don't do. But have that attitude, have that confidence. And once you get that confidence, I can do that 7 in 30 minutes. Look at how your score will jump. That'll be a monumental jump. But don't be greedy. Don't in the middle of the test, don't get, hey, listen, I'm getting a lot more, so I'll increase my target. If you do that, you're not going to work out. So enter the test with a very calm, clear goal sight of 7 questions. Now, practice-wise, yeah, I'll tell you what to do in the actual CAT or so on later. But first, get confident that you can finish 7 questions in that 30, 35 minutes, 40 minutes. My idea is lower the time. Don't increase the target score. Lower the time. The target score will automatically increase if you lower the time. If the paper is easier, instead of taking 35 minutes, you might end up taking 25 minutes, but only 7. And now think, there are 22 questions. So first start thinking, okay, for every 3 questions, I have to do only 1 question. You know, you should do that. So when I was a student, I used to prepare, I used to make a block. Okay, these 3 questions, let me just choose one of these 3. These 3, let me choose one of them. Then this is also just crutches to help you. Then increase that. Hey, listen, I should be able to scan 5 questions and just solve 1 or 2 questions over that. And that is how you train your mind and so on. So this idea of choosing questions is very important. So choose those 7 questions and tell yourself again, those 7 questions that I attempt, the distribution should not be such that they are in 1 to 15. They should be, that should be 1 or 2 questions in 1 to 5, 1 or 2 questions in 6 to 10, 1 or 2 questions in 10 to 15, reach the end of the paper. Do that ideas. So try these things in your mock strategy. Okay. Try these things in your mock strategy. Another strategy that you can do very well in your mock is, time-wise, tell any question that goes beyond the 3rd minute or so on, I'm going to leave it then and that. Even if I feel I'm getting an answer, I will leave it there. I will just leave it. And you have to repeat it to yourself. Why? Because there are so many other questions and I just need 7. So the idea, what you have to do yourself is, I'm going to make it a cakewalk. I'm going to make it very easy. 7 questions, I'm going to say, hey, listen, look, you throw whatever you want at me. You put, out of 22, put 5 excellent deliveries. But I will wait for those 5 deliveries where you mess up and I'll score. That is what you have to do. And then you start saying, hey, listen, the test is not just about how much QA I know. The test is also about, how well do I bat, how well do I attempt the paper. So try these things. And why I keep telling this is 7 scores. So now for everyone, what 7 scores is going to land you in. It's too bad we can't talk or so on. What is 7 scores going to, 7 questions right going to land you in? Any idea? Quick, let's see if we can have that. 7 questions in percentile. Land you, obviously, I'm talking about in percentile. I'll continue the questions till the time I don't. Okay, so okay, I guess it's difficult to have a real-time communication in this medium. There's a lag between what you write and what I do. So this is my key message for today. So probably everyone would be here now. 6 questions. No Ganesh, that is where you're missing out. Ganesh, that is what is creating the tension in your mind. 6 questions right, Ganesh. Yeah. 6 questions right, Ganesh, is going to get you 88 percentile plus. Pay attention carefully, students. 6 questions right, 88 percentile. 7 questions right. Look at the jump, 91 percentile. So Ganesh, I'm absolutely, I would be very satisfied if I get 7 questions in this mock, the next mock that you'll take, assuming you'll take in next 2-3 days or a week. 7 questions, 91 percentile. 7 questions, 91%, and you'll get more than this. Okay, 8 questions, 94 percentile. 8 questions, 94. So do you know from 7, if in the next, if you are relaxed, the 7th I can do in any paper. You should have this attitude, man. You give anything 7, I'll do, and what I'll do 7, I'll do it in 30 minutes. You're giving me 40 minutes, I'll do it in 30, 35 minutes. The next time you say, okay, 35 minutes, last time I submitted, this time I'll take that 5 minutes and I'll do the 8th question also. And you know what will 8 questions land you in? 94 percentile. 8 question is going to get you 94 percentile. And when you take a pause at 8 and you say, hey, listen, every time last 2-3 marks, I could easily do 8 questions, 94 percentile, I'm a standard now. From that 8, you can go to the 9th question, and that 94 will go to 96 percentile. And then 96, one more question. So we are talking about the 9th question will take you to 98 percentile. The jumps are, again, repeat. Start from 6 questions. 3 ka jump, 88 and 3, 91, 91 and 3, 94. Then 2 ka jump, 96, 98. 6, 7, 8, 9 questions. 88, 91, 94, 96 and 98 percentile. This is your step. Now, my problem is, the issue here is, students, that we enter into it without much thoughts, and we say, if I use a Hindi word, wo raita phail jata hai type वगैरह, we are all over the test paper. Question number 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Oh, now I've puzzled. Time is gone. Suddenly jump to 15 questions, 16 questions. Suddenly jump this way, rework this, that. No, students. Yeah, and why? Because if you have an idea in your mind that you have to do this, just do that much. Now, are there risks with this strategy? Yes, there are risks with this strategy. Every strategy has a risk. That does not mean you don't do this. No, do this, overcome this hurdle. Then we will take up things of the risks with this strategy. Right? The risk with this strategy is you tend to plateau and you tend to say, hey, now I can get that 8, 9 questions, 94. So that 99 and 99.99 is a different battle. But then finish this. Now we'll take up that battle also, right? So do this, students. It will help you. Okay, seriously, just help you, and then start understanding that my challenge in the test is not like scoring anything. My challenge is getting the 8th question. My challenge is getting the 9th question, and the 9th question is when I can easily do 7 questions, and that is where your choices will improve. Okay, chalo, quite a few questions must have come. Okay, that is Kashish's answers. Prajwal, I revise all standard question live. It will be good. Yes, revision all live questions from the Takshzila's live classes is a good. The questions that we do in live classes are all application oriented. They check something that you have learned in the theory, and they are also a little challenging. So Prajwal, that's a very nice thing. You can take up all that, right? It's just that watching through all those videos and all is very time consuming. So somewhere you need to be, efficient with your time, or else you'll take a lot of time over that. Revision needs to be a little time efficient. You cannot spend 3-4 days going through just one topic. You need to be a little fast. Yeah. Kingslayer, left with geometry, some topics of rest of on number system. What should be the deadline to cover everything? Kingslayer, geometry, take a deadline of, finishing geometry in the next 10 days. 10 days geometry is comfortable, and comfortable, I'm saying. Right now a little haste should come in. Okay, so when I say 10 days for geometry, what I'm talking about, almost 3 days for triangles. You can divide it into triangle. Yeah, if you're familiar with our structure or so on, we can talk about angles, sides, areas, angles, sides, areas one day. Talk about all the 4 centers another day. Similarity, right angle triangle another day. 3 days triangles done. 1 day quadrilateral polygons, 4 days, right? For circles you'll need 2 days, 6 days. 1 day for mensuration type of question, 7 day. 1 day for coordinate geometry, 8 day. So it will roughly turn out to be 8 to 10 days you would need geometry. So finish 8 to 10 day geometry. So but then stick to this. Yeah, there's no point me doing all this in details and then you not following it, right? So August 14th we are, August 22 or August 24 you should finish geometry. Number systems you should finish by August 10, and so August 10 you should finish geometry and number systems. Assuming this is the first time you're doing, I'm giving you a little leeway. Okay, so August 10 you should finish geometry and number system. Don't leave it. Number systems will be also useful for other exams. While CAD, the number system weightage has gone down, but in other, so keep the holistic perspective. Yeah, don't be too short-sighted just on CAD. That's a very wrong thing that a lot of students do. Okay, so finish number system, and then when you're left with PNC and the small topics like clocks, calendars, base system, those are one day. Those you can just fit in anywhere in between your mock analysis. There's a 7-day week. Just keep 1 day to study something new and the other 6 days for mocks and revision. That 1 day that you're studying new, you can easily finish calendar, you can finish clocks and so on. PNC, probably you'll need another 3 or 4 days for PNC. I don't know if you have done set theory or not, so you'll need another 3 days for set theory. So this is the whole idea. Okay, so probably by September first weekend, you should be thorough with 100%, and you're not late. You can always prepare along with your mocks. Right, so this includes 1 or 2 days where you'll be taking a mock for sure. Okay, Kingslayer done. Prajwal, I don't do much new questions. Just give, when you take mocks, Prajwal, when you take mocks, you are doing new questions. Nah? I don't see any mocks or so on is going to have a lot of repetitive questions. Almost all mock questions are new questions. So I don't know why you say I don't do new things. Nikhil, I just told you, you should start giving mocks. Nikhil, even if geometry is left over, okay, for those who joined in late or so on, I'll repeat and very short. Irrespective of what topics you are done, not done, at least 2, 3 mocks should be taken away, should be taken right away, or in the month of August, so that you once you take the mock, now your pace of study will have a different it will be a different pace. You will feel impatient. Mocks are going to push you to finish your task. Right now, you're comfortably sitting and saying, I'll finish my portion, I'll finish my portion. There's no urgency. You will have to get that urgency, and that urgency will come when you take the mock. When you take the mock, you'll realize, forget geometry. What I have done, algebra, arithmetic, that also I'm struggling with. So either two things, either you'll suddenly get shocked. You suddenly get shocked at what is happening. I thought I was preparing well enough. And then after one day, you'll have to sit down and communicate to yourself. Listen, okay, this is much more than what I thought. It is far more difficult. It is not just about, study practice and you'll get a score. Yeah, everyone just tells do this and so on. So I'll have to do little more. So, you'll get more keen. You'll get a little more. If you're serious, you'll get a lot more serious to do it. So take a mock. Yeah. Okay. Anmol says third attempt and I'm having a problem. Cat level unable to solve 8. That's okay. Anmol, when you know that you have a problem in QA. So I know QA is not my strength. Then 8 to 10 questions is not an issue. With 10 questions, I can reach 98 plus percentile. What is important, Anmol, is 2 things. And I'm serious about this. Friends, even when I sit for CAT now or so on, right? I am not the one who will go out over there and say I'm chasing a 99.99 and out of the 22 questions, I have to solve 18 questions. I am not that even now. Even now when I go, I'm going to say out of 22, I'm going to solve 12 questions. And you know what? 12 questions will give me that 99.9 percentile. And that's enough. I don't have any of those ego battles, 99.99 and 100 percentile, I need to be 99.995 and so on. Why am I telling you this, Anmol? Why I'm telling you is, look at yourself. Third attempt, 8 to 10 is, you have got a realistic target. With 8 to 10 questions, you can reach a 94 to 98 percentile. With 10 questions, you can reach beyond 98 percentile. What is the problem? The problem is, can I get those 10 questions correct? So worry about that part. So don't worry about, doing tougher questions. Worry about, can I manage the questions that are twisted and turned, but substance-wise are the same. You should have this knack of knowing which question is dramatically different, is something which I have never seen, which will involve the so-called problem-solving skills. What are problem-solving skills? When faced with a new situation where you have to find your own path. Okay, the path is not defined. That is the thing. So some unknown function comes in and you don't know anything about it. Something on a periodic function comes in. I'm telling language of students those who can't find good with maths. F of x plus k is equal to f of x. Oh, what is this k business? I can't understand this language, right? So for you guys, what I'm saying is that 10 question is a good enough thing if you can manage. Just ensure that the 10 is done. If you can ensure that the 10 is done, everything is done and done accurately. The other thing that I don't like with a lot of people who don't appreciate Quant is, sir, I did questions 10, but I got 3 of them wrong. I can't understand. How did you do 10? If you did 10 and you got 3 of them wrong, 7 3s are 21, 21 minus 3, 18. Why did you not just do 6? Look at the world of difference between 10 questions and 6 questions. You're getting marks just as 6. In Quant, the accuracy, I will allow you one wrong answer in whatever you do. Beyond that, I will say you are not doing the way a successful student does. A successful student in QA section will get one wrong. Very unlucky will get two wrongs. And that is even when he's attempting 14, 15 questions. So if you are attempting 7, 8, 9, 10 questions, I don't give you anything more than 1, 2 wrong, right? So if it is going wrong, that means you're not doing it religiously, or you are just playing around in the test something. Okay. Akshay, revision ka I've given many things. Okay, let's say now Akshay, okay. Akshay is how to revise Quant. Therefore, Akshay said a lot of questions I have all been answering in terms of this. Now you have completed 30% DILR, 50% English, not given any mock. Akshay, again, now why can't we? One thing is, get to a solution and find the time wasters. Another message that I have, students, pay attention to this. A lot of the things that you get on the web now, including this seminar, including this webinar, okay, may not be very necessary. You don't have to go out and watch every YouTube live event or every and these days there are more and more. So a crack you will have, a career launcher will have, a 2IM will have, a Cat King will have, everyone will have. Do you know all these are decent time wasters of yours, including this? Now, if you have a question, come and ask, get to the answer and go off. Don't keep waiting. The more I watch this, I'm suddenly going to get a magical formula which will improve my score. No, we are keeping it live because if you have a question, you can ask. Is there a better way to ask question? Yes, there's a much better way than you waiting. I started this at 6 o'clock, at 6:38. So probably Akshay is going to wait from 6:20 to 6:38 for his answer. It was much better if you would have just, in the group, put in the answer and I would have given you a asynchronous answer. It would not be live, but you would have got your answer. So what I'm saying is, identify the time wasters and please get off the social media and so on. Students, find your answer and apply. Don't keep searching for a better answer. There's no better answer. So I'm answering your question now, but hopefully with the idea that you will get over it and now practice. Now, from here onwards, since you're done 30% QA and 50% verbal, here onwards, probably spend equal amount of time on the 3 sections. Okay. Decently equal, so that your DI and so on is also this. Now, revision, as far as it goes, pay attention. There are 3 rounds of revision to be done. First round of revision is right the next day. So whatever you study today, the next day before you start your studies, for 10 minutes you need to revise. What do? You check your notes. So if you're not doing notes, start becoming religious, start doing it in this way. Make notes when you're studying. Okay, the next day, check this notes, 10 minutes it takes, not more than 10 minutes, take round 1. After 10 days, 15 days, you have to revise what you did in the week or 10 days, after week or 10 days. So after every week or 10 days, keep one day where you are going to say, whatever I did about 5 days back, 7 days back, 10 days back, I will run through the notes again. And then comes a third round, which is 1 month later, which obviously this is the round that I was talking or giving answer to Sahai and everyone. You quickly run through all the unaided recall of all the standard type of questions, unaided or just a glance at it, and then go through the important questions, running the approach in your mind. I'll tell you again examples like this. There are 2 iron blocks. Okay, a part of this is cut out. Equal part is cut out from here. This is alloyed with the rest of it. This is alloyed with the rest. Now, it should come to your mind, hey, this is a CAT question. I've seen it being done. If it doesn't come now, that means my preparation has holes in it. I have not done one course thoroughly well. So first fundamental is I assume that you've done one course thoroughly well. Any good set of course will have this question. Now, this question should have been obviously marked those 2 stars, 3 stars, and so on. So now you have to go back and yes, obviously, if you're the first timer, second timer, you're not going to realize the answer immediately. Then you'll have to say, okay, how is the solution running? So I'm saying this has some percentage P1, P2. Okay, X kgs, 10 minus, the total is 10, 10 minus. You will have to do it verbally in your mind. This is what I'm saying, how you increase your speed. Can you look at what is the important data? The weight, 10 kgs, X cutoff, X and 10 minus X. Both have P1. Here the weight, 15 kgs, X kgs cutoff, X and 15 minus X. Both have P2. Now this 10 minus X is mixed with X, and this 15 minus X is mixed with this X. This process when you do, that is a time when you are going to improve your skills. Till the time you do that same thing, you're not going to improve your skills. Because now it is also important for me to tell you how to build your speed. Till now it was okay, you were just learning everything theory-wise. But now you'll have to build those speeds and so on. Okay, anyways. तो आपका आंसर हुआ नहीं, मैं खत्म. तो first send equal time. Equal time karo, remember, so you'll have to put in little extra hours. So probably in Quant, if you have not done the entire syllabus, have you done the entire syllabus? How to revise? Okay, I am assuming you have done entire syllabus. If you have done entire syllabus, there's nothing left to Akshay. फिर तो मैं जब जो सहाय को बोला वही करो ना तुम. टेक in the rest 90 odd days, 100 days, 50 days for revision, 50 days for mocks, 50 days में revise arithmetic for 10 days, algebra for 10 days, geometry for a week, 10, 10, 20, 27, rest of the topics for this. So वो करो ना rest of the 50 days. So there's a lot of time for that. Okay. Not completed much. Akshat says not completed much of Quant. Should I prepare Quant by appearing in mocks and reviewing them? Akshat, it completely depends. Are you a good student in? Is maths a very strength of yours or a weak? If you know all basic maths and you can learn from mock questions, then start learning from mock questions. But that is assuming you know a lot from your earlier thing. If you don't know, if you're struggling with Quant, if you're not good in Quant, there's no point struggling with mock questions. Mock questions are tougher than CAT questions. So I am not a big fan of the mocks one. It's good to compete, but it's not good to learn. Okay. In fact, this is another message for the good ones. All the good, bright students who are, aiming for the 99.9 and all that. I have seen students over the years who have enough potential to get into the exam. And I can name them, but I don't want to. We can see those students. There are so many right now that I can recall. So I'm just, going slow. They don't make it. And you know why they don't make it? Because half of their attention is trying to solve questions that are much beyond CAT level. Every year, and I warn them in the group, you are spending time in trying questions that have nothing to do with CAT. Don't do those questions. So, so again now, how will you know what is CAT level and what is not CAT level? I'm talking to the brighter kids, the ones who are very nice and so on. And with that assumption, take a day and sit through all time, speed, distance questions of that have come in CAT from 2017 to 21. Yeah, that's quite a good 17 to 21 is a good 5-year papers. Yeah, 5-year papers through to all time, speed, distance question, and don't solve the questions. Don't take it as a test. Evaluate them. How convoluted are they? How much of a let's say, what do you call a twist and turns are there in the question? For example, when I see in my doubt group, people asking, A and B start running from a circle and then they meet, and after they meet, he changes his direction and he changes his speed, and the other guy increases his speed and does not change his direction, and they again go, and then again things happen, and again things happen. When has CAT asked such a convoluted question? Or in mixtures, something weird happens. I take something, then I remove part of it, and then I add, while adding something spills over, and then check now, go sit and do all the CAT questions at one time and try to find, has there even been a remotely a question which remotely has so much of twists, turns, and changes. You will find that it's not necessary, students. It's not necessary to do that. Okay, so what should you be doing? You should be doing, you should be looking at how do I sharpen? How do I sharpen my skills of selecting those questions? So the brighter students, where you all are going to struggle in this is, how do I finding 10 questions to solve in QA is easy. From 10 to go to 16 questions. How do I find those remaining 6 questions which are not the difficult variety? Hone that skill. Hone another skill. Hone a very important skill of how can I get to the answer without doing a lot of pencil work. Can I sit back and look at your work, pencil work, and see, is there any scope where you could have reduced it? Could I have done this rearrangement of equation in my mind and eliminated the steps? Can I solve? So find those things and improve on those things, students. Yeah. Think of geometry, see how you can, categorize questions quickly into what category, what subtopic they belong to. Or this question is going to be based upon median. Oh, this question has only length and a median. Oh, Apollonius comes in. Do those things. It's more important than doing very tough question. Chalo, I'll continue, students. Yeah. So, Varun, advanced question is not going to be a part of CAT. So, Varun, my question would be advanced question, just ignore. Kashish, there's no difference between revising algebra, geometry, arithmetic. Algebra is the same, revision is the same thing. If you're revising after a long period of time, first thought is through going through all the types of questions, the standard variety of questions. Second is taking a set of questions that were important and knowing the how the flow of solution goes just in your mind, not on the paper and pencil. And the third, if you still have time, solving another 30 to 50 questions, 30 to 60, whatever you have time available for new questions. So that is how you revise. Okay. And Kashish, one more part of revision that we keep forgetting, students, is when you analyze the mock, when you take a mock, and once the mock is done, the analysis is in two parts. One is how did you attempt the paper? That is one analysis. The other part is solving all the questions again. So when you're solving the questions again of a mock, you are revising. And it's just that those revising are done across all topics at the same time. So I would use that as I would count that as a revision time. Yeah, you should. So that is how you revise after that. Sahil, should I do previous year paper instead of mocks? Nikhil, no. The previous year papers, you can do them to get familiar with the CAT level, but not as tests. All those questions you would have solved it is somewhere in the class. If you have attended a class religiously, a lot of those questions would have been practiced in the class. So you'll get a very wrong feel of those tests. Previous year tests have to be done for familiarity of the level asked. That's about it, not as a test. Okay, because I again repeat, a lot of those questions you would have known earlier, which is not going to happen in a real test. In a real test, you'll always have this feel of this question is something new. Okay, and that is where the challenge is. There are going to be more than half of the questions are going to be the same questions that you have done earlier, worded differently. Can you look at the intent of the question and not get lost in the details is more important. Okay, chalo. Sahil, I scored 185 out of 360. I'm not sure. Why are you not sure how bad or how good it is? Why not just Google once what is the NMAT cutoff? Not a very nice thing, right? Yes, lot you can do for Quant, na? If you found DI lengthy, why did you have to do DI in the section style? Yeah, there's a time thing. Don't do the lengthy DI thing. Find the other things, right? So again, analyze it yourself. Now, find what was missing. First thing is why? Why is it that I don't know what a good score in NMAT is? Find a good score in NMAT. Then go ahead and then say, okay, I found DI lengthy. So obviously, answer is in that message itself. Na? If you found DI lengthy, was I right in attempting it? How were the other Quant questions? So why did I not go through them earlier? Definitely a lot of things can be done. Where to get fresh questions? Achilles, you need the study material. You need a sound study material, students. You cannot have patchwork and expect to go into this. So I find students who are relying on, random study material and very direct. I'm telling everyone, I think a good standard study material is one of the top 3 classes: Time, IMS, CL, Career Launcher, IMS, Time. You can look at our material. Track you also should be fine. I haven't evaluated, but then I would not go beyond these. I would not go to something XYZ or a local or any. I would not consider Arun Sharma, Sarvesh Sharma, or Nishish Sinha as a complete study material for Quant. I would not do that. Supplementary material, yes, but not the complete. So I think Achilles, if you have any of these, that volume of that is enough for you to prepare. You would definitely have a lot of questions that you can solve from. And you need material. Without material, again, remember, it's like a businessman. You have to invest something to get returns. If you don't invest, it's very difficult. The investment may be differing, but then you might not have. Things are very cheap. Our course, anyways, let me promote it also. Our course probably from the 16th. Achilles, if you're listening from the 16th, our courses are going to be very damn cheap. Yeah, at throwaway price. I just want to showcase you what a good quality course is. Okay, so it's going to be at very throwaway prices. Go ahead. If you don't have the course, purchase it. You'll get a fresh set of 3,500, 4,000 questions to do. Yes, you would need to get under the skin of algebra in terms of look at how algebra is different from arithmetic, use of variables. You'll have to study the topics. You'll have to do the drills. You'll have to means there's no straight answer that I can give you here. But all if you struggle with algebra, it is a lot. Algebra is a lot about language, like functions. Even a polynomial is, for that matter, function. Now, do you understand that idea of polynomial being a function? And the holistic picture. Once you look at polynomials, everything: linear, line, quadratic, curve, cubic, curve. So this, there are two, one maximum and one minima. They could be smoothed out also. This whole picture, when you look at it at in one idea, then you'll understand or appreciate it better. Till the time you just look at it as some variable is present, the whole idea of graphs, for that matter. So Varun, you'll have to pick. You'll have to pick up answers from what I'm saying. So this whole graphical thing is very important for algebra. For you to understand, look, let me take a quadratic divided by a quadratic. Now, what is this quadratic divided by quadratic? You don't find it in a real world example like a profit loss discount or a time speed distance, where you can still figure out some distance and the time taken. Yes, I agree, it's a little abstract, quadratic over quadratic. The only sense that you can make of it is the x used over there goes from minus infinity to plus infinity. And as the x changes over there, this value, so first you understand there are two values, the x and the y. And this value changes its behavior. As x is increasing from minus infinity to plus infinity, this is sometimes decreasing, sometimes it goes to infinity, then it will suddenly start at minus infinity and it will change its value, then it will have a maximum, it will again change. So if you get a little more perspective of what is happening, you might find it a little more comforting. So one way of algebra is to look at it holistically. If you don't have time for that, you don't have interest for that, then the other way is learning the language. Even this language of independent variable, dependent variable is enough for you to get to gain a lot of stride. The same thing as difference between learning differential calculus or differentiation. Half the time we don't know till the time we realize that differentiation is for rate of change. When there are things. So once you get a full picture, you'll start appreciating it more. Try doing that. So learn from a better source. It would probably be a little more useful. You'll find it more, till the purpose is not there, you find it difficult. Anyways. Okay, yes, Varun, I've seen people who solve difficult questions with how do they come up with these solutions and how can we develop. Varun, one thing is, there are two things here. Solving difficult questions. So Varun's question is, he has seen people solve very difficult questions very quickly and swiftly and sometimes in better ways. How do they develop the skill? I'll tell you my story. Time, speed, distance, or so on. At one point of time, Varun, at one point of time in my career, I was so sure that everything in arithmetic is linked up. Everything I can relate it to ratio and I can try. By everything, I obviously don't mean 100% of it, but I mean most of it, 80, 90%. So time, speed, distance questions, when it comes, I would say, hey, listen, I have to relate it to ratios and use ratios, use variations. Mixtures, mixtures I can teach you like compound interest. When removal and replacement, if you look at that formula, it is just final is initial 1 minus volume removed by total volume. Now, isn't this very similar to amount is principal into 1 plus r by 100 raised to n? Removal replacement, when you remove and replace by water, it is identical to negative interest rates. So what I'm saying is, now you need to have this whole urge to say, I solved this question, but can I solve it in a better way? Can I find link? Can I find the essence of what is asked? So in time, speed, distance, when I used to find these shortcuts for myself, a lot of time I would see the equation and I would sit and say, what is this equation doing? Can I word the equation? Can I say x by 50 instead of x by 50? Can I say distance over speed? Okay, this is the time taken minus something. Oh, this is time, you can only subtract time. Oh, this left hand side is the difference of time. So can you do all those things? It's very important for you to do those analysis or to do these reflections in your preparation. So if you have been following me for a long time, I keep telling, when you practice, spend quality time on the question. Don't chase number of questions, but spend quality time on each and every question. So one part is when you do this, that is the time when more and more methods come to your mind of how to solve. Second answer, a little disappointing answer. A lot of problem solving techniques are gathered over the years. In 11th and 12th, probably, okay, compared to a graduation student, 4-5 years back, when people used to solve trigonometry questions and identities, trigonometric identities, they would have picked up so many clues of, how to handle, oh, this term goes to this side, which terms to club. I can still tell you that when there's an algebraic thing, like let's say there's a term in x square, there's a term in x, there's a term in y square, there's a term in y. Those who have accumulated tricks from their school days will immediately say, why don't we make this a whole square? X square and x club it, make it a whole square. Y square and y club, make it a y square, a term in y square, something y plus something the whole square. These are tricks that are accumulated over the years. And there are many more such tricks that I can tell you. Okay, like the same thing. Let me continue. X square, xy, and y square. Now tell me, now I haven't given you any question. This can come in any question. X square, xy, y square. Now also see the language, how it changes. I'm talking about, now I know what I have to search in that equation. Earlier, there was no term in xy. Now there's a term in xy. Can this make a difference? This makes a world of difference. The moment an xy comes, a parabolic relation comes over there, right? Now, so tell me, what do you do with x square, xy, and y square? I'll leave that for you to think. And if I don't know what do I do, that means I have not picked up those skills along. No? That comes. Third important point. Third is good for you. So pay attention, Varun. There are techniques to solve questions using options. Or let me tell you something. I know once I will scan the paper to see which options have variable in it. Options, I'll just scan through my eyes, so the option reads as n plus 2, n minus 4, 2n, n square. Oh, this option says n. Oh, so the question has something to do with n. So why don't I choose a value of n? So I will choose a value of n as 1. And then I'll work out whatever is happening in the question. And then I'll say my answer should come out 5. Now put n as 1 in all the options and check which becomes 5. This is a technique which most of you will know. It's called plugging in values. But my thing is, do you remember to do this? up until recently, till recently, it is, it can still be used in CAT in some sense. Yes, it can be used quite often. In mocks, you can use it in a lot of questions. In CAT, in relatively few questions, but till a little time earlier, there were always questions in CAT which you could crack this way. So, the other thing, pay attention to this, again, a message that I tell my students sometimes, why do you not consider options a part of the question? Why is when students ask me questions in doubt groups, they knowingly they'll not give the options, they'll only give the question frame. First thing, I don't know, why are you wanting to test me? Can I solve it without options or no? But I'm more disappointed in, do you realize you're making a sin? The options are a part of the question. If you're ignoring the options, you will always ignore the options. Why are you not taking that the question, read the question and say the answer is this or this or this or this? You will be shocked sometimes that this itself will shortlist some of the answers, will eliminate some answers. So this is how things go, students. Yeah, this is how it works. Okay. Shivam, I'll answer your question. I have seen your message. We are also busy. And remember, SNAP and NMAT, while it is definitely very significant for you, you just need to first understand, Shivam, is don't waste your time. I did not appreciate that message of yours to me very well, Shivam, saying that I wasted a month. Why did you waste a month? Do you understand the importance of 1 month's effort? So, Shivam, that is not done. Yeah. So don't waste your time. Pick up arithmetic and finish arithmetic, Shivam. No, even I'll answer your question in detail. I'll make a topic-wise thing what you need to do for SNAP and NMAT and give you. But if you just wait for it and say, sir will give me and then I will start, this is wrong. Start arithmetic, everything of 50-60% difficulty level in arithmetic, everything is a part of SNAP and NMAT. So finish that first, Shivam. Yeah. Okay. Akshay, बदलते रहते हैं looks, yeah. Vaibhav Arora, your question is not about QA. I'm working with my father. Will it be counted as work experience? Can I put partnership deed which as document while filling? While filling form, you don't have to give any proofs of anything. First of all, Vaibhav, definitely not about work experience. If you are working with your father, I would insist that my work experience be counted. Now, when you're so diffident, when you're asking me, I would have a doubt. Now I will say, hey, listen, this guy is maybe fooling around. The same thing happens. If you are working, why will I not argue my case that I have been working, I have work experience, ask me questions, I will answer. I will tell you what work I was doing. I used to go at 8 a.m. in the shop and I used to sit over there till 6 p.m. and I have done these work. This is work experience. But when you're diffident yourself, you yourself don't know, then is it wrong for the panelists to think that, hey, he's just using his excuse? कभी गया होगा एक महीने में एक बार ऑफिस जाके काम कर. So now you decide which one is true. If you have not been working, they will figure it out. They will figure it out. Yeah, Varun, do not think that they are fools. Yeah, it is very easy to see when a person with work experience talks about real work, there are going to be fundamental questions, about your work experience, which you'll never have thought to prepare, and you'll be caught. So figure that out. If you have been working, obviously you should count it as a work experience. Why not? Obviously only post-graduation. Yeah, nothing much. Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Mamata Hasan. Thank you. Alekhya, I think so. You are a student, so let's take it up offline. Right? I've completed Raghav 60%. Algebra, arithmetic, geometry, no revision, mod function. Raghav, okay, Raghav, I'm answering Raghav's and the others, pay attention. Don't think that from here onwards, the syllabus completes and then there's mock. Don't think this way. Mocks and syllabus completion should go together. So syllabus, mock, syllabus, mock, syllabus, mock. I hope you get the idea, right? So what you could complete in, let's say, so pay attention, Raghav, what you can complete in 1 week now without taking mocks, I would suggest, please, instead of 7 days, take 8 days to complete it, but insert a mock day in between. Okay, what you can complete in 2 weeks, 14 days from now on, syllabus, I would say take 16 days for it, but insert 2 days of mock in it, right? So please remember, pick up days, a Friday, Saturdays, Tuesday, whatever day you find good at, and reserve that for mock and take mocks, start taking mocks. You need to get it back into practice, right? So don't consider it as, what shall we say, sequential. Consider it as simultaneous work, right? And this should settle the question for everyone, students, because this question is a lot times asked, what should I do? Okay. Due to job, I only get 4 hours each day, which I'm utilizing in syllabus completion and revision. I'll only be able to give this. Arigna Sinha, yes. So I just spoke that should work fine. So reserve a day. Agreed that you are stuck with time. But then again, if I got your... Arigna, again, you should just tell, okay, man, I have this additional constraint of time. Okay. But then you would also be gifted in some other sense. Now you will have that advantage of, that work X in your interview and so on. And I guess anyone who is on the brighter end, who's been a toppers or so on, would get jobs, would be working seriously, right? So just say, okay, that's it, but how do I make best use of my time? So don't feel too let's say unfortunate because of the time limit. Just say you'll have to live with it and do things more efficiently. So you would have to, in fact, you will have to find things where time wasters, mobile phones, browsing, internet, everything, you can cut things out. You can cut things out in your life. There's only 60 days left. So think for 60 days, you'll remove off everything. And you'll just, so, if you have to, if you are going to a gym or so on, stop that. If you're doing some language classes, doing anything, stop that. Stop everything. In fact, to an extent, and this happens every time, I'm very passionate about a thing that I continue every day. But then when peak season comes, like it is going to come now, I will cut that down because I have to spend more time over here. So cut those things down. If you have to wake up an hour earlier, start waking up an hour earlier, right? It is not a thing. If you have that habit of wasting your time in the night or so on, 1 hour to 1.5 hours doing nothing, just racing, try say ki relaxing can come after 60 days. So 60 days finish. So renew your efforts, redouble your efforts. Think of the bigger picture, motivate yourself with what the rainbow at the end, the gold pot at the end kind of a thing, and do it, right? And reserve that 1 day for mock. 1 day for mock is good enough. Yeah. You don't have to go berserk and have to solve 2-3 mocks a week. No. 1 day, 1 mock a week, done well enough, analyzed well enough, and so on is enough. Your learning curve, once the initial shock of mock goes away, 2-3 mocks, your score will go zag. Once you get to, okay, now I have to respect it, I have to give it good thing, I have to think and plan in my attempt. Once you get to that stage, 5 or 6 mocks is where you experiment and you do well. Like if you were there from the beginning for this session, I was telling, I forgot the name. Move from 7 marks to 8 marks, 8 marks to 9 marks, keep time short, try to do it within 30 minutes and so on. If that process works for 5-6 marks, if you can manage that, you have settled at a higher plateau level. Okay, then there's another battle that you have to do. So try that, doing those things. Okay, chalo, very nice. Manoj Kumar, yeah, anatomy of a question, another popular phrase that I keep using. Whatever works for language, man, as long as you get an idea. I've done the course, I'm still not able to do 4-5 questions of mock. I can in mock. Anubhav, but same idea. Yeah, if it is 4-5 questions of mock, there's something wrong. That selection is totally missing out. Something is definitely there, because if you say you have done everything, the whole course, and still you can only look at 4 questions, and either you're wasting a lot of time in questions that you're not supposed to do, which are not, or you're unaware of your own strength, weaknesses, where you are good, where you're, that is another thing that a few students on the, who are not very good with subject, students, those who are good or those who perform well, they all are very, they have a better idea of themselves. They know what I can do, what I cannot do, and so on, right? So you also need to get into that idea. So see what questions you can do, what you can't. Search for those questions. Anyways, I don't have answers right away. And in so one of the good things, Anubhav, that I take from your message is after the mocks, I can solve more. So the problem is not of you being able to solve that question or no. That is done. You can solve it after the mock. So what is happening in the mock? Ask yourself. In the mock, the moment the timer starts, your mind goes numb. Your mind goes numb. You just see question 1 and you start solving, and then question 2, and then you get frustrated, and then you leave that question. Then you go to the next question, and then the next question. This is not the way to be done. You need to sit back. You need to relax. You need to say, I will first choose a question. And again, keep a target in mind. You are saying 4-5 questions. So keep 6 questions in your mind. I want to do 6 questions. Make it short. Okay, from the first 10 questions, I want to do 3 questions. So 10 questions are in front of me. I have to do 3. Sit back the way I going back now. First, get to that attitude. First, get to that thing. You cannot be in a mad rush in the paper. Again, learn to verbalize what were your feeling, what were your things while doing mock. I did not realize when 15 minutes happened. How did you not realize when 15 minutes happened? You were so lost in that, is it? So why not you are taking tag of this? Okay, 10 questions, 3 questions I have to do. I take roughly 3-4 minutes in a question. So 12 minutes to solve the question. And let's say to scan the 10 questions I need. Now, you should know how much time it takes to scan the 10 questions. You don't know, take 10 questions, read it and see how much can you do. Break things up into small pieces. Find where the difficulty is. Hope you get some ideas from that. Do that. So once you have this, once you are in control, when you're sitting in that mock, another thing to pick up is, are you in control? Or is the mock taken control of you and you are just randomly, the mock is throwing you here and there and everywhere, all over the place? Or are you in control? Are you resisting what the mock is trying to do to you? Are you resisting the time pressure? The mock said you did not realize 15 minutes. Next time, do you realize that when is it 10 minutes? How time is passing? You should know that things. Okay. Aman, that's a nice this. Okay, before Aman, Raghav, then I'm able to solve most questions using ratio when it comes to making equations. Well, you Raghav, you can't use the same skills of arithmetic and algebra. So in algebra, try to use some other skills like plugging in values is one idea. Definitely one idea. Yeah, in variables it gets used more often. Okay. Other things is equation. I'll tell you what, in equations, I have still seen even the 99 percentilers and above, I've seen them, they take more time to solve simultaneous equation than needed. You should still train your mind to think of small numbers and whole numbers in your mind. So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is, a quadratic equation should be solved in one step without writing any intermediate steps. That goes without saying. Irrespective whether a is 1 or 2 or 3, even if x square has a coefficient 3x square and blah blah blah, you should be able to factorize it in one step immediately. If you don't know, you are unaware of the process. It has to be done. Simultaneous equation should not be rewritten. First equation into 3, second equation into 4 should not be rewritten. Can you save those times over that, right? So save these small time. It will accumulate quite a bit. Equations when you need to solve. So something a by b, c by d. When you cross multiply and rearrange, can you do it term wise? Term in x, term in y. In maxima minima questions, you do this, a quadratic over quadratic, let that be k, cross multiply, rearrange. Can you do that in one step? It will accumulate these times. Yeah? So somewhere you will pick up some speeds over there. So or else the other thing is, take your scratch work and analyze those scratch works. If you see a lot of multiplication being done in the scratch work, 17 into 25, being done in a margin, unpardonable, and that to 25, 17 into 25, multiply by 25, divide by 4, 17 by 4, 4.25, adjust the zeros, answer, हो गया, खत्म. तो वो करो वो सब चीजें, ठीक है. Aman, from 11 to 15, 16 questions in quant. Yes, Aman, that's a nice, therefore I told you the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10 is a different battle. From 10 to 15 is a different battle. And here the battle is, listen, okay, serious question, though it's time, I'll give it I'll give it its due. Nice question also. From up till 10 questions, you are choosing which to solve. There is a difference in what I'm saying. Okay, up till 10 questions, you're choosing which to solve because the ones that you're solving is fewer than the ones that you are leaving out. When you do 15 questions, Aman, your choice moves to which ones do you avoid, which ones do you not do. And is there a difference? Yes, there is a difference. Because you have to do more questions, you know, you cannot afford to get stuck into, or let me say the difference is, you can do questions. You can do them. You can get them. The problem is how much time does it take? Let me reword myself. Okay. The first challenge is students cannot do questions. So they have to identify which questions can I solve. Coming to your scene, you can most probably be able to do questions. Given a lot of time, you'll be able to do a lot of questions. So most probably, you know, you are ending up choosing questions that take a lot of time to be done. Which you could have done that. I'm not denying that, but should you have done that? No, you should not have done that. Okay, so which are these 3 questions or 2, 3 questions, just those 2, 3 questions that you could not have done and you could have traded off for? Instead of these 2 questions, I could have done these 3 questions. So now it is no longer a question of what can I do, what can I not do. It is about which one do I prefer doing. That should go to your mindset. Your mindset should go to where is the trade-off happening. When all questions have the same weightage, why am I doing this question and not 1.5 question instead of this question, some other 1.5 question? You got this? So this should be your mind attitude. Okay, so one is this objective that you should change. So never get it into a framework of can I do this question or can I not do it? Remove that from your mind. Yeah, it's not a Olympiad thing. It's not a you know, very limited question kind of a framework where you have to do all this. It's a question of, you know, a lot things other than just knowing maths. Second thing, better ways to solve. Better ways to solve is more important in your case. So look back at a lot of arithmetic questions, like others have also said, could I possibly do it faster? I'll just give you an example. Look, you need to understand, Aman, right? It is that I'm talking without knowing too many things. Like, so let's say removal and replacement. Now for me, removal and replacement are very easy one-line questions. And if you can understand this, final is equal to initial into a lot of factors, factor 1, factor 2, factor 3. And these factors are what? I can easily look at the, we can go into detail. So now, if this is not the case with you, if you find removal and replacements a little more, let's say lengthier, a little more lengthier than other questions, then you have to tell, oh, I need better ways of solving questions. While we are at replacement, let me take weighted average. Look at this. Even the top percentilers will put A1 weight 1 plus A2 weight 2 divide by weight 1 plus weight 2. I don't know, why do you need to divide this by weight 1 plus weight 2? Why can't you just think of weight 1 plus weight 2 on the right hand side? So now it becomes a linear equation. A1 weight 1 plus A2 weight 2 is equal to overall average into weight 1 plus weight 2. You know, you might think that this is silly, but what I think is, thinking this way stops me from writing. I can just think of an equation balancing 2 sides. Okay, so I'm again, you know, you'll need to go down to minute point by point ways of doing such things, right? So better ways. So that's the second part to better ways of solving, and I don't mean by tricks. I don't mean by plugging values. I mean by this. Again, in better ways to solve is going to be that scratch work that I said. How much do you do? aside, and that calculation bit still holds, Aman. If you're still struggling with some calculations or so on, reciprocals or so on, you should still try to improve them, because I don't think in that entire 40 minutes of QA, I am going to do any single calculation using margin of my scratch pad or so on. If you're doing that, I think you can improve somewhere. Okay. What else? Then the third is better ways, more smarter ways to solve, in the sense of using options, plugging values. What more can I say? Okay, the other thing more. So pay attention. The last thing is the rounds work. Rounds work. Now that you have an upper end of a target of 15, 16, I would say, now this is just as an example. The numbers are, you can play around with the numbers. First 12 minutes, I will solve 3-4 questions, and I will reach the 22nd question. I would have seen all of it. Having solved 3-4 questions, I would have marked the next 10 questions that I'm going to do. So now I have the remaining 28 minutes to solve and identify 10 questions. So this is a round strategy. I'm pretty sure if you're targeting high, you know this round strategy. Does it work? It works for a lot of people. It may not work in your specific case, but at least it's worth trying. So if you have not mastered it, I would say master that process. Master that. It might take you to that 14, 15, right? So try these. If nothing works, then reach out to us sometimes again, and we could figure that out. Okay. Okay, lots. So nice. I've probably solved a lot of answers. Satyam Pal, our self-study course is worth, everything is worth getting a 99 point. That's a very wrong question, Satyam Pal. Is a self-study course enough to solve 14, 15 questions? Tell me, would everyone in a self-study course solve 14, 15? No. Would there be people who would have solved 22 also? Yes. So that the self-study ka value nahi hai usme, Satyam Pal. The value is you. What do you bring to the table? And I'm again very, I'm obviously I'm upset about it. It's an indignant, whatever that word is, right? To question so much. It is always we check usse ho jayega. So many times I get, my question to you is, do you have what you have to get to the table? Is your basics enough? Are you smart enough to, do you know our course has probably, even if you just watch all the videos A to Z, it's going to take you 4 months to finish it. Now, do you have that sort of time commitment? Do you have that sort of concentration? So yes, if you have good stuff in you, the course is worth not just following 14, 15 questions, it's worth full 22 questions. I don't know of any course which has such detail and so in-depth ideas and everything. Hari Krishna. Long hair, I don't know now when it will happen. Last question. Aman says enough 100%. Thanks, Aman. Can I skip number systems, PNC? Hari Krishna, last thing, last question, I'm closing it, so no more questions, please. Right. I would not suggest skipping any topic. Don't do the difficult part, but let me tell you, number systems, why should you not know that series of numbers when divided by 10 and 12 leave 1 as the remainder? Why should you not know this? You should know this. This can come anywhere. It's the LCM of 10 and 12 plus 1. And you can take any multiple of the LCM. That's a series of questions. So should you know this? Yes, you should know this. Applications of factors, you should know. So some things like this you should know. Why not do what is the unit digit of 7 raised to 20? Now it's a standard question. This question might even come in NMAT. NMAT is not a tough question in any sense, but this question of cyclicality can come, right? So my message to you is, do the basics of everything. PNC, let me tell you this. PNC, you should know how to find selecting 4 people out of 6 people. You should know, because you might need such a logic even in a DI set. You should know what is NCR, what is NPR. You should know symbiosis questions. Yeah. In how many ways can you arrange letters of the word Wednesday? Now, what is there in this one question? How many ways can you arrange? There's no ways. There's a what? What is in how many ways can letters of the word Wednesday be arranged? 12-word question. Wednesday is the only word over there. Why should you not do this question? So my message is, students, do the basics of every topic. They are interlinked. You might need them somewhere else. They might be the easiest question asked. How bad will you feel when such a question goes unanswered in an exam, right? So do everything, but leave out the tough part if you want. Okay. With that, I end the question, session. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Vinit Pujashi. Yeah, thank you so much. So meet you some other Saturday, right? We'll try to keep this regularly. Thank you. Bye-bye.